Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Real tired after a long 6-day work week, but I wanted to get this video out. And then when I actually made the video this morning, and the file got corrupted and I lost all my progress, so I'm redoing it again. Now my voice is completely blown out, but bear with me, I'm doing the best I can. I hate to shut my channel down because of limited time and because I'm tired and all the time and sick, but this is what life is, you know, when you work hard and you're trying to get ahead and make your, you know, goals come to life. So you just have to do less and less of everything. So I'm actually not doing a lot of things around the house today, so I can redo this video again. I gotta sit and edit the thing and everything, but you know, it's a big part of my life. I mean, if I wasn't committed to this, I wouldn't do it. So anyway, gonna get on with it. I got some pickups, the first pickups of 2019, and I've got a few new things. These are things my friend Jeremy had kind of collected for me the last few months in the tail end of last year, and I've just been waiting to send him the money, which finally cleared everything up. So I've got these games here, and then I've got some new things as well that I've picked up. So I thought I'd just show just a modest amount of pickups, and he's actually got a really good head start on the next batch of games. I'm really excited about some of the heavy hitters and holy grails he's finding me as I'm getting down to the wire to get that collection all wrapped up, which is exciting. So this is a game I got right the day it came out, and I forgot to mention it in one of my last pickups videos, but that's a Red Faction Guerrilla remastered for the PS4, which looks amazing. And I have this for the Xbox 360 as well, but I never played it. It's one of those few games that slipped through the cracks. So I'm delighted to have this. It looks great. I've heard it's really a must-play game. Wonderful, destructible environments. So this is going to be something fun that I can go in and play a little bit each night. So, and I just found this. I bought it, and then it got shuffled away in a drawer with DVDs and Blu-rays, and I just came across it. I'm like, wow, I completely forgot I bought this. I bought it, and then got lost in the shuffle in my chaotic life. So anyway, here's this. This is a really big holy grail. Back in 1995, I bought my original PlayStation at the week of launch. It came out. Got a bunch of games. I bought the first Ridge Racer game, I think the second week that I had it. I bought like 4 games initially, and then each week I was going back and buying more of those great tall box games. And one of those games was the first Ridge Racer for the PlayStation, which I had never played before. And I guess it's been in the arcades as well. A great game, strange driving physics, but a lot of fun. Very arcadey, great music. Namco knocked it out of the ballpark with that. It's still one of my favorite series to this day. But later, I think it was a couple years later, they came out with Rage Racer. And thanks to my good bud Jeremy, he found me a mint copy of Rage Racer for the PlayStation 1. Man, I love this game. It's like a quantum leap beyond Ridge Racer. Better graphics, really good music, even cooler hot rods and cars, a better assortment of cars, an outstanding game. Man, I love this game. And I'm excited to go in my garage and play. The weather's really nice now. It's in kind of low 70s, so now it's more comfortable to be in my garage and playing PlayStation 1 games. I've spent the last 6 months playing a shitload of them out in the garage, but it's been cold out there. But now it's warming up, and it's like perfect weather to be out there and playing this. So I'm going to be putting this in, Jeremy, real soon. Thank you so much for finding me Rage Racer, one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. This really is a holy grail for me. An outstanding game. If you have any love for the Ridge Racer series, you've got to play this. I like it better than R4, actually. He got me a few games. I'm getting real close to the end of my original Xbox collection now, the last 10 or so games, and these are some of them. Sega GT Online. Now, you can play this offline or online. But, you know, for me, all I care about is offline. But it's a great game. It's one of those few that kind of slipped through the cracks. I've never been able to see it locally. And he found me a mint condition version of it. Again, all these games are complete. In fact, he even packs them with like bubble wrap to protect the disc. Really nice. Everything's in great shape. The discs are perfect, no scratches on them. That's the way I collect. I get the games complete and as clean as possible. If they do have some light scratches, I have the disc polished out and I take the stickers off the box. But anyway, this is a great game. I'm really looking forward to this. I love the Sega Rally and the other games in the series, so I'm delighted to have this. Game I've never played, but I've always been curious about, from Rockstar, is State of Emergency. Now, they also had it on the PlayStation 2 initially. I think maybe, is this the second one? This is the first one. I think maybe the second one was on the PS2 only. but I've never played this. And it's kind of a riot game where you go through in these riots and you create as much havoc and destruction, picking shit up, throwing it through windows. It's like typical Rockstar fashion, chaos and, you know, urban violence, and it just looks fun. I've got to play this. So once I did some research on it, I said, oh yeah, find me State of Emergency. I've seen this one locally before, but I didn't know what it was, so he got me a really clean mint copy of it. Really happy to have it in my collection. Halo 2, the only Halo game that I have played. And I did enjoy it. It's just that at the time, you know, I remember when I first started watching YouTube, Jeff Gertzman and many other people on GameSpot and IGN were raving about, oh, this is the game of the year, you've got to play this Halo 2. So I had never played a Halo game. And I remember buying it and playing it. I just was kind of disappointed because I was expecting more. You know, I didn't know what the story was. The environment seemed a little repetitive, the same type of corridors, the same type of enemies, and after about halfway through it, I just lost interest. But I'd like to give it another chance. I think it's a great series. Obviously, a lot of people love the series. Now I have Halo 1, and I've got all the other Halos. I think I'm only maybe missing Halo Reach, I think, for the 360, but I'm trying to get all of them for the 6th and 7th gen. And I'll start with the first one and play it, and then go segue into this one. In fact, I'd like to get the remastered Halo 1 for the Xbox 360. But this really looks good. I'm anxious to play this and give it another shot. I did like the opening cinematics, and the story arc looked really cool. So I'm really happy to have this back in my collection. It's one of the few that I do know something about because I actually played this many years ago and enjoyed it. Partially, just not enough to where I played it all the way through. You got me some other ones. You said, Dean, I've got some compilation arcade games if you'd like for the Xbox 360, and you give me a good deal on them. This is one of those PopCap collections. Now, when I was at Steve's house recently, he had the Arcade Volume 1, which I want to get as well. But this looks really good. You've got, let me get my glasses on here. So you get Peggle, real popular arcade game. Feeding Frenzy 2, which I've never played, and Heavy Weapon, which I have played, which is an outstanding game. So, and I forget the ones that are in the first Volume 1, but I want to get that as well to complete the collection. I love these compilations. They're a lot of fun. There's many fantastic arcade, Xbox Live Arcade games for the 360, and this is certainly one of them. You also got me this one here. It has Cubed, Lumens Live, whatever that is, E4, Every Extend Extra Extreme, whatever that is, and then this Res HD. I know nothing about these games. I have seen them in the Xbox 360 Arcade Online thing, but it looks good. Again, more of these. I want to try to get as many of these compilations as possible because they're fun. These are kind of the games that I actually can put in and play for 20 or 40 minutes and have a good time with. So sometimes less is more. In my case, I have such limited time. It's just getting more limited. Pretty soon, my partner says we're going to be starting 6-7 days a week from now until the very end of the year. He said, dude, you'll be lucky if you even get one day off for months straight. So it's going to be tough gaming, but sometimes these smaller games are nice because at least I can finish them and get into them. But he also got me the Incredible Hulk. He just got me the 2 Hulk games for the original Xbox. So I'm thrilled to have this. In fact, this even comes with a GameStop exclusive, the Red Hulk, which it actually shows right here. So it looks good. It was one of the few comic book characters I grew up loving. I watched the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk, TV show and really enjoyed it as a kid growing up in the 70s. So it's one of the few that I like. I'm not real big on Spider-Man, but I do like the Hulk. I like the destruction, picking cars up and throwing them, jumping off from buildings and cracking the concrete. It's just got a lot of that big, heavy, ham-fisted action. And so, the Hulk is great for that. They're really fun games. So, and I'm so close, my God. I've only got literally just a handful, maybe 5 or 6 original Xbox games left after what he's just got me recently. Wait till you see the next batch I've got coming. Some really heavy hitters from the PlayStation 2, the PS1, and the original Xbox. I'm real close down to the last couple games for the original Xbox, maybe half dozen tops, and maybe another dozen Xbox 360 games. I'm almost done. Maybe another dozen to 15 PS2 games, and I'll be getting there soon. So then I also found just a couple videos. A lot of people hate this, but I've been dying to watch. I had a friend that tried to loan it to me years ago, and I had it, and I just never get around to watching it. This is the unrated extended edition of the Doom movie. Now I know a lot of people, oh God, it's terrible, and it probably is. But there's some things about, I like the FPS view that they've seen, which I've seen on YouTube parts of it. It looks really cool. I like Carl Urban from that Dread movie, which is fantastic. The Rock, I like him more now than I used to. So I'd like to give this a shot. It looks like a lot of fun. Really cheesy sci-fi action. They even named some of the characters after Tim Willits and John Carmack of Id. So it looks great. It was like $2 I paid for this, and it's in mint shape. So for $2, I can't lose. And I got for $20 used the original trilogy of the Fast and Furious, or frankly are my favorites, just the first 3. The other ones are okay. I mean, the series kind of gets way over the top and kind of goes downhill as far as I'm concerned. And every year they have a box set, but then they keep making more of them. So to me, this is the best ones, or the first 3, which I saw. And when I watched the first one, I went to it the day it came out. I actually had one of the few import cars I've ever owned. I had a 1995 Nissan 240SX, which I drove to go see this, and that was one of the cars that was actually in the Fast and Furious, the first one. And a lot of the areas that they filmed that in, I lived near in the South Bay. In fact, I had my first sign shop business I had not far from where they had the final race where Dom, cornholes his, 1970 Charger over the train tracks and destroys it. The friend of mine that it was one of my best friends, who owned the tire shop that I had a lot of my custom lowering done and exhaust and stuff done, his best friend loaned them or rented them the Hemi top fuel motor that was actually in the first 1970 Charger of Dom's. So I've got a lot of people I know that helped make that movie, the very first one. A lot of the scenes I know where they filmed the house. I know where all those locations are. In fact, one of these times I go back to LA, I want to go to where Dom's house is and maybe film that. But it's a great series. I was in my early 40s when the first one came out, but it's great to see that, the show has inspired a lot of younger people to get into cars. So because it's a car enthusiast, film and series, I like it. There's things about it that are pretty cheesy and over the top, but I'm just glad they're still making car movies for the gearheads and the few of us petrol heads out there that like, fast and furious action and racing and cars. So it's great to have all 3 of them on Blu-ray. Man, they look fantastic. Tons of behind-the-scenes extras. So I'm sure most of you have seen it. Some people like or could take or leave the series, but like I said, I got a special place in my heart for at least the first 3 of them. The second one's in Miami. Really good shots. Great muscle car action, as well as imports. It's a good little bit of something for everyone if you're into cars. I like it. It's a fun series. And the CGI and special effects, it can really kind of give you those feelings of going over the top speed-wise in urban environments. Very cool. So anyway, that's that. And then I've got a couple digital games as well recently, which I'll talk about. One of them I just got a week or so ago was at Beat Cop, which has been out for a while on PC. Finally was released for the PlayStation 4. And I think you can get it on the Nintendo Switch now as well. And it's a really cool kind of one of those story action, kind of like those old PC games that they had, those LucasArts games back in the day. And it's all kind of an 80s theme. I think this dev did a thing called Papers, Please, which was a PC-only game. And it was a really cool little text game you go through, and there's little simple pixelated graphics. And you're like in a Soviet border, and you have to carefully decide, screen each person coming through the border and see if they get the right papers to get through or whatever. It looks very interesting. My friend Cameron of Industrial Gamer raved about the game. He said it was one of the most impactful, story-driven era of games. He really was glued playing it, and it encouraged you to replay it to see different scenarios and how they play out. And it's very much like that with Beat Cop. You're kind of a cop back in the 80s, you're falsely accused of some shit you didn't do. You get a shit job, you got to pay your ex-wife alimony. It's a lot of fun. And you got to do what your boss wants you to do. You have a certain quota to write so many tickets or have so many cars towed that day, whatever it is, and you got to do it. And eventually there's just not enough. You can't make enough even as an honest cop to make it. So you got to kind of bend the law a little bit, do favors from some people in the neighborhood, and maybe look the other way with certain things to try to get ahead financially. So it looks like a great game. And it's really done in this cool pixelated art style with the 80s feel and vibe and music and the cars and the scenario. It's a very adult game. There's a lot of little adult scenarios that you see the little text blips, and you gotta, certain shit goes down in the neighborhood, and you gotta, like I said, you gotta look the other way for some mob type guys or work with them. You can decide to be a good cop or a bad cop or maybe a little of both, whatever it takes to get through another shitty day as a beat cop on the streets and to clear your good name. Looks like a great game, kind of game I can actually play a little bit each night of. So I've got that recently downloaded from my PlayStation 4 Pro. And then a game I forgot to mention that I got was Road Redemption, which came out, God, months ago for the PlayStation 4. And I got it like the first week that it came out. And I think it was, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 bucks, whatever it was. But it's a great game, and it's kind of a little rough around the edges, but it's a spiritual successor to the wonderful Road Rash series that I love so much. It's sad that EA has so many great licenses, like the Burnout series, which I'll talk about in a minute, and certainly the Road Rash series, and why the hell they could print money if they make a new one, but they won't. They said that, oh, no one will play it, it's too simple, no one cares about that shit anymore. That's sad, because many of us die-hard Road Rash fans would love a new Road Rash, but Road Redemption scratches that itch. It's got the same over-the-top histrionics on the road, beating cops, bludgeoning. There's even more weapons. Now you get like MAC-10s and Uzis and other weapons you can shoot your other guys with. There's more little ways you can go off the beaten path and shortcuts and oncoming traffic, bizarre different ways you can play the game. And it's a tremendous amount of fun. My first night I got it, I played it, God, for hours, and I kept playing it for like 3 nights in a row. Sadly, I've never gotten back to it. But you eventually unlock faster bikes, more weapons, more carnage. It's so much fun. Even my wife had a blast watching me play that. So I'm really thrilled about having that collection. Road Redemption, I highly recommend it. Very, very good. I don't think there's a physical copy, but you can get it digitally off, Xbox Live Arcade or whatever for the Xbox One or for the PlayStation 4. A fantastic game. I'd really recommend it. And then just a couple nights ago, with this new Dangerous Driving came out. Now, I called GameStop immediately the day on the 9th that it came out and said, dude, can you hold me a copy of it? And he said, well, let me check the computer. No, we don't show any, there's no physical copy in our computer systems. So I was bummed out. Now, I know you can get it, because I've got friends that have bought a physical copy, and Metal Jesus, I think, got one. I think you can get them off Amazon or maybe through Best Buy. I'm not sure. But look, for 30 bucks, you can get a physical copy for 40, $29.99 for a digital copy. I said, it's a cheap little budget game. I'll just get it digitally. Fuck it. So I got a couple of money cards. Of course, the money cards come in $25. I won't use my credit card information. After the PlayStation Network got hacked, I never use my credit card to buy anything over the PlayStation Store or Xbox. I buy the money cards, like these, and I scratch off the numbers, and that way you're guaranteed. No one can fuck with your account. You get the money in your account, and you can spend it any way you want. But because they come in $25 denominations, to get a $30 game, I have to buy 2 of them. So I had to spend more, so I got 2 games. So I got the Dangerous Driving, which, by the way, I watched Metal Jesus did a fairly lengthy video with Drunken Master Paul, his buddy. They were playing. He loves the Burnout series like I do. A lot of people, shit on him, and I don't know if they're jealous or resentful, whatever reason. A lot of people don't like Metal Jesus. I personally like the guy. Look, I found some fantastic PlayStation 2 and Xbox original games and Xbox 360 games based off from his Hidden Gems video. So the guy's golden with me. I have no issues with him. I know years ago he tried to raise money for some cross-country trip, and it fell flat on his face on that one. But, again, I'm not big on Patreon and all that kind of stuff, but I like the guy. He's a likable fellow. We're probably from the same generation. We like a lot of the same heavy metal shit and games and stuff, so I got no issues with him. But he did a fun gameplay video of it. I watched about 20 minutes of it, but all I had time for. And then I watched Jeremy's review of Angry Centaur Gaming. He did a pretty good review of it, and he's more anal than I am. He nitpicks a lot of the little technical issues with it, which to me, it looks and plays fine. I was shocked at how good and how smooth it plays. Now, on the PS4 Pro, it's at 60 frames a second, and man, it's buttery smooth. It looks very fast. This is the first time in years I've played a really fast, high-speed, very fluid, high-speed driving game. It's really intense. You can't blink or look away or you're going to hit something. What's cool is that the oncoming cars will flash their lights at you, so at least it gives you a little heads up as to which lane you need to be in. But even then, shit starts escalating so quickly as you get the quicker cars that, I mean, you can't blink. You'll wreck. The turns are really tricky. Unfortunately, there's only like 2 camera views. You get like a behind the camera, or like a third-person view, and then there's a first-person view, but the shit happens so fast in first person, it's really hard to see the judge. So I like to see the car to see if I can, create impact with other cars. It works better for me, that third-person view. I love the game. It's fantastic. I have 0 complaints. Now, there's no licensed music. They got some little catchy tune for the menus, which is nice, but there's no music throughout the game. But again, it's a budget game. It's a $30 game. A physical game, you get the Danger Zone or some other game they had, which was ridden with technical issues, and that's that part of Burnout I don't care, where you just keep wrecking the car and trying to do more damage to other cars. And I mean, I never liked that aspect of Burnout. I know many people like it, and you can kind of do that with this. After your car wrecks, you can hold a button and keep creating damage to other oncoming cars and stuff. I don't care about that. I just like the racing and the collisions while you're in the race. To me, that's where it's at. The only technical issue that I would, or minor nitpick, is that unlike, the other Burnout games, and that's why I love the series, because I bought since the day the very first one came out on the PlayStation 2. I bought it the day it came out and loved it. And that's the one game that's actually on my PlayStation 2 list to get. But later they had Burnout 2 came out on the Xbox. To me, this is a much better game than Burnout 1. We really improved everything in this. This is a good game. Highly recommended. Whether it's you get it on the PlayStation 2 or on the original Xbox, you got to get this Burnout 2. I don't know if it's on the GameCube, it might be, but it's a great game by Acclaim. I love this series to death. It's just fun. There's high-speed driving, great side-swiping collisions with other cars and avoiding oncoming cars. It's intense. Great game. Burnout 3 Takedown. To many people, this is their favorite. To me, Burnout Paradise is my personal favorite. I just like it better. It's more open world. It's much more fluid. Better wrecks, better animations, the best of everything. But this is still a great game. Highly recommended. Burnout Revenge for the Xbox 360. Fantastic. A great fucking game. I love this too. But my favorite is Burnout Paradise. And that's why I had to get the PlayStation 4 version right away, because it's so damn good. A great game. Great wrecks. I mean, you can put some serious time. I probably got, my God, 60 to 70 hours in this probably with no problem. And I probably got maybe 5 or 6 hours just replaying it again. It's so good, finding all the billboards. There's a lot to do in this. Now, this is a very polished game. They spent years making this. Now, this new game, Dangerous Driving, there's only 7 guys. I mean, you got 7 guys making a game. It's amazing that they could make a game this good, that looks this good, that plays this fluid. It's a little Spartan, yeah, with no music to it. Now, in my living room, I have a ghetto blaster sitting on my fireplace mantle right by my TV. I just play my favorite tunes. I can put in a Joe Satriani CD, put it on loop. I got great jazz fusion from a band called 480 East, which I get all their CDs. Perfect driving music. So, I mean, I just play music in the background, and it's problem solved. If you have a Spotify Prime account, you can actually play your favorite tunes in there. My wife has Spotify, but just the basic account. She doesn't have the Spotify Prime. I think it's $10 a month. But if you do have it, you can take your favorite playlists and play them in-game through your PlayStation 4 or your Xbox, whatever, and it's a great option. My wife's more into the Pandora thing. That's her big deal, so we listen to that at home here quite a bit. But, it's a great game. So, it doesn't have the music, but once you get into the driving and the wrecks, the music can be a distraction, actually. It gets you all worked up more than, I'm already on the verge of a heart attack playing it as it is. But like I said, you can just play your own music in the background. Problem solved. The menu graphics are pretty basic, kind of like they have basic Helvetica italic text, very simple. It's a very bare bones game, but what there is of it plays great. There's many different racing types, ways you can play the game, and as you play through it, you get like the bronze, silver, and gold trophy things. That unlocks better cars, more tracks, more race types. So there's a lot to this game, and it's very addictive. You get addicted to get the better. I've already got a couple trophies or medals, whatever the hell you call it, achievements or trophies, I guess, through the PlayStation. Not that it matters, I'm not really into the trophy thing, but it's fun. The only nitpick I would have on the game is that when you do, like, unlike the collisions in Burnout Paradise, which are very fluid, you hit someone, it goes, I mean, immediately into a smooth transition into a really great car wreck. There's a slight delay, like a fraction of a second delay. So when you sideswipe a car, all of a sudden there's like a brief delay, and then it clips to like a cutscene of that car you hit careening off the road with the doors open, the wheels flying off, and explosions. The graphics are great. The lighting is fantastic. It's very fluid, very high speed. You're down low to the ground, so it's really, if you're up higher, you could see ahead a little bit better. So it's intense. You really feel like you're low to the ground in the cars, and shit comes at you fast. It'll get your heart rate worked up. I played it last night until my controller died. I should have charged it the night before, and all of a sudden I'm into it, and I'm sweating like a pig. My controller died, and you had a warning came on my screen. Oh, Dean, you have a low battery. You got to charge your controller up. So my wife says, "Good. Why don't you shut it off and charge your controller? Looks like you're gonna have a coronary." So I shut it off. I'd highly recommend it. If I had no other choice but to pay $60 for it, I'd pay it. So I've watched probably 5 or 6 very positive reviews on the game. So a lot of people see exactly what I see in the game. I mean, EA is never going to make one. So we have to be thankful for these road redemption games, a little rough around the edges that game is, but it's still fun, and it scratches that itch for a fun racing game, and so does this dangerous driving. It's a budget game. If you paid $60 for it, okay, yeah, maybe wait till the price to come down, but for 30 clams, that's a hell of a deal. I think that's a great deal. I love the game. If I had more time, I would have tried to capture some gameplay of it or something. Time is limited. I really love the game. It does everything right that the original Burnout games, like Burnout Takedown 3, it has that kind of action. So if you want that kind of my friend Ian, Bangkok Ian, I saw he did a very early gameplay video on PC, and he absolutely loved it. That's what sold me on it. Even before Metal Jesus' video, I saw Ian's video and said, oh yeah, I got to get this. And then I saw nothing but positive reviews of it. Since then, for 30 clams, it's a winner. So, and then anyway, so I had leftover $20 left over because I had 30 and I had $50 with money cards. I got $20 to spend. What can I get? So I looked through all the games, and I could have got like Mortal Kombat XL for like $20 and other ones. And I said, well, let me look for something a little different. Something that's a little bit more calming and relaxing. And so I saw some games, and I would pause it and I'd go back to YouTube and then check out reviews of it. One of those games is a game that's called Far Lone Sails, a wonderful indie game. So I paused the thing, and I went right to YouTube, and one of the first reviews that came up was Mac of Worth a Buy Reviews did a fantastic review of it. And he even said, look, dude, I was prepared to shred this game a new one. It looked like something that I would not be interested in. Oh, fuck it, I'll play it, and I'll rip the thing apart, whatever. But he fell in love with it. He really got sucked into its world. It's beautiful, very common graphics, and a really nice aesthetic, beautiful ambient music, and it's kind of a very gentle side-scrolling game where you get from point A to point B. I guess you can beat the whole game in maybe 4 or 5 hours if you rush through it. So that was his only complaint. It's maybe a little short for some people for the money that you pay, but I think I paid $20 or maybe even $14.99, like $15 for it. It was very affordable. And it's a beautiful game. After watching his review and a couple other reviews on it, I said, oh yeah, I've got to get this. So I went ahead and got it, and it looks great. That's something I'm looking forward to playing tonight. It looks like something I can very easily play and enjoy myself and having a nice slow-paced game. So it looks great. So I'm real happy. Those are the games that I got. I also went to GameStop and pre-ordered the deluxe edition of Rage 2, which I'm very excited about. So I've got that coming as well. So that's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to play that. That's the one AAA game. That'll be the first big AAA game I'm going to buy this year. And I'm going to make the time for that. It looks so good. You got like these force powers, kind of like Star Wars, in conjunction with heavy-duty, over-the-top weapons. Mad Max Fury Road, visuals and shit. It looks fantastic. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was this. I came home last night from work and was tired, so I put YouTube on. It's a good way to kind of segue into my evening. And I'm looking through the shit that I missed that day, and I'm like, what's this? Jedi Fallen Order. Oh, that's that new game that's coming out. And there's tons of impressions and people breaking down the artwork on the poster, all this crap. And so I watched some gameplay of it, and Gameranks or something did a little thing on why it's a game to, to I guess be looking for in the future. I think they said it was going to come out possibly the November 2019, which is fine. If they need even more time, that's great. I want it to be good. Now, right off the bat, it's EA, they'll fuck it up. It'll get canceled. I hope it doesn't get canceled because, God, we need an offline single-player game. I mean, nothing against, I like what I can play of the offline dynamics and skirmish modes of Battlefront 1. And I've yet to play the story campaign of Battlefront 2, which now they even have the DLC additional one last chapter on the story or something. So it looks good. I have played kind of the timed skirmish mode deals that they do have in this offline, which are fantastic. So for the $20 a piece that I paid for these, I think I even paid $15 for this and $20 for this, I got my money's worth, and I would have probably even paid full price just to have what there is of the offline, because what they do is very polished and looks fantastic. It gives you that Star Wars vibe, but it's really not a story. It's like playing, the old Battlefront, in the free-for-play, in the basic kind of go and just pick your level and just start playing kind of mode. And that's fine, but I really miss good story, action-type campaigns with a narrative from the old days. These are great games, especially Jedi Outcast. Man, this is my favorite Star Wars game of all time. It's so damn good. And I've yet to play the Jedi Academy. So based on that, we're way overdue for a good single-player offline campaign, and I think that this is going to scratch that itch. Supposedly it takes place after the antics of Episode 3, where they have the order to kill off all the Padawans and the Jedi, and there's one kid that escapes, and he's kind of hiding out and on the lam just trying to survive, and then discovers that he does indeed have those Jedi powers and uses them against the Empire. And it's done by that Respawn dev that did the Titanfall 2, which looks great. I never played the first one. I think it was an exclusive, on the Xbox One initially. I don't know if it ever went to, I think it was an online game anyway. But the second one did have a really good, although short, single-player offline campaign, and from what I've seen, it looks great. That's a game that's actually on my list of 8th-gen games to get, and I'd like to play that Titanfall 2. But the devs look like they did a very competent job. Everyone seems to rave about how good and polished the game is, so I feel good. It's not done on the Frostbite engine, but that's okay. I'm interested in it because it is another dev who's using a different game engine, so it seems like it's removed enough, and hopefully EA won't cut the throat of this one and just let it breathe and let it live, because God, do we need an offline single-player campaign. And they'll clean up, they'll print money with the damn game. If it's halfway decent, my God, it'll be great. And it looks good to me. I'd like to give it a chance. It's so easy in this day and age to be jaded and pessimistic and cynical, because that's the thing of the day, to be cynical. But I tend to look at the positive side of things, and I'm hopeful. It doesn't mean I'm going to pre-order it per se, but I'm going to be watching, early impressions and reviews very closely of that, and that's a game I would like to get when it comes out, because I'm way overdue. In fact, I've been playing a year ago. I played The Force Unleashed, and man, I just absolutely love that. And that looks like more of the same. A lot of the lightsaber type action, force powers and stuff, and that's right up my alley. It looks perfect. That's the dynamics I loved about Jedi Outcast. So I'm very hopeful, and I'm going to be optimistic. That's something to look forward to, and that's what, we got this new Outer World, game to look forward to that's done by Obsidian. There's some good things this year to look forward to. A few things for me, not as much as, a lot of it is this, Anthem, all these online only, games as services things, which I'll never touch. So to me, it's like it'll be easy to buy and probably play the 4 or 5 games a year that come out that are good single-player, narrative-driven games, and you know, this Jedi Fallen Order looks like it could be one of them, and man, it would be something really special for Christmas. If it does well, it could clean up at Christmas time. That's a good time for it to come out in November, so we'll see. So that's a little bit of my gaming news and feelings of what's coming. The Dangerous Driving game, I'm having an absolute ball with it. I can't wait to get back to it. And I've already charged my controllers, fully charged, ready to go. I got this, you know, that Far Sales or Far Alone Sales, which I might tempted to start tonight as well. I need something just kind of mellow and casual that would fit the bill nicely. I played that Lifeless Planet last year, and man, I played it all the way through the end. I couldn't put it down. It was such a simple game, but it was so peaceful, and just something about that ambient worlds and just kind of taking your time and letting the story and the kind of the whole thing kind of unfold as you explore and checking out these different worlds. It's a wonderful little adventure platformer. And those are the games that after a long, hard day, sometimes I don't feel like killing everything in sight in an FPS mode with a real fast-paced frame rate and everything. Sometimes it's nice just to chill with something very casual. So that, you know, I got that Beat Cop and that Far Alone Sales. Looks like it'll be something really fun I can play evenings and just enjoy my process of going through. I've been playing a lot of racing games. I'm kind of almost had my fill now. I'm like either ready for a good adventure game or FPS game. I've got that abduction game, which I've been thinking about getting back to as well. It's very fun, nice, quiet puzzler to go through and play. That game, The Witness from Jonathan Blow, is another one I would like to get eventually and play. Though sometimes there's just, you're in that mood for something really mellow and just kind of a just meandering adventure and exploration, and I like those kind of games. And a lot of really good indie games are coming out with that kind of game fare. So let me know in the comments how you feel about these topics. Have you played Dangerous Driving? What do you think about it? What do you think about that Far Alone Sales? Have you played it yet? Do you think it's a great game? I know many of you play a lot of PC games. You're more apt to play a lot of these games, you know, than I am, because a lot more of them hit the PC than do the consoles. But there's some great stuff coming out. What are you looking forward to this year the most? You're looking forward to the Rage 2 game? I can't wait for this. This is going to be, so this is something I'm going to make the time. It's going to be tough to get through it, but I'm going to really look forward to this. This is my type of game. I love that first Rage so much. I had so much fun playing that the week it came out back in 2011 or 12, whenever it was. It was a great game, and I'm anxious. In fact, I'd like to replay that someday too, but my backlog for 8th Gen is starting to get so big now that I almost feel guilty going back and playing these older games, which is basically all I've been doing for 6-7 months, is playing PlayStation 1 games and original Xbox and Xbox 360 games. So no matter what they are, enjoy your games, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much for all the positive feedback I had on my last video showing my good friend Steve Baker's collection. He appreciated a lot of the kind comments as well. It was fun. It was one very random last-minute thing, but I'm glad that I could share those kind of things. In fact, Steve just sent me a text and invited me to some thing over in Livermore. It's kind of over in the Bay Area, coming up here in May, early May, on a weekend. And we're thinking of making a little road trip video together, taking the Challenger up there, and it's another little game expo thing, and it'll be a lot of fun, retro gaming and buying and collecting and meeting other gamers and YouTubers here. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I'll certainly be filming that if I can get the time off to go, so we'll see. I better get my time requested for that. Even if I want a Sunday off, I have to request it in advance. My company is very demanding with work. The money's great, but it just takes a lot out of you. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching and for supporting this channel. I really do appreciate it, and enjoy your games and collections. Thanks again.